Okay, so I'm going to discuss about Ashlesha Nakshatra. As in my previous video, the part 1 of this video, I said that now the Ashlesha I'm going to discuss in detail, but not the normal stuff like its padas and what kind of character or nature it has. Not all that really. I will go towards esoteric and how it affects us if it is in our chart. So among all the 6 Gantanta nakshatras, Ashlesha is the most intense, most potent, most dreadful, they say, but I won't use that word, but of course they say it's difficult and dreadful. It is sharp, tishna, and it is hard and basically a very troublesome nakshatra, but it is on the other side. It is highly spiritual, most sacred, mystical, and it gives the person, the native, with a high level of psychic powers. So we can see the occultists, very evolved occultists, who have who are really psychic, like tarot card readers and astrologers who are really very strong intuitively. They have this nakshatra in their chart, so it gives one with this kind of powers. And if the Ashlesha nakshatra people are evolved, they get transformed, then they can be like they can go for meditation for longer hours than normal person can get into meditation. Their their focus and attention is really good, and they can connect with the beings of another realms, and that's why they are psychic healers who make the spirits do surgeries on people who have issues with their hands. They do surgeries. There are so many things like that. John of God, that kind of psychic healers, they are who have this ability. I don't know whether John of God have Ashlesha Nakshatra or not, but this is the gift of Ashlesha Nakshatra, that if you are righteous and you are selfless and your intention is to help people selflessly, then you will be gifted with this kind of powers, where you can connect with, you can experience astral travel, you can connect with the realms of other with the realms other than our world, the physical world. There are other realms, you can experience that. And there are people who say that they have been to Mars, in their astral travel. So this kind of scenario is there. So the symbol for this nakshatra is the coiled snake sitting straight, king cobra, and looking with penetrating gaze. This symbol itself represents the Kundalini energy or Kundalini Shakti, which is in all of us at the base of our spine. But it is our choice in each lifetime that through our right karmas and yogic practices we can awaken it if we want to, under proper guidance, of course. But for Ashlesha people, they can do it very easily because it is very strongly activated for them. They just have to practice a bit and they can achieve it. Also, this Ashlesha people, because the nature of the serpent, the tendency of serpent, explain its meaning and nature, So like serpent have a tendency to coil, to intervene, to embrace and to cling. The same way this nakshatra have this same tendency, So like if the destiny, it's like the snake of destiny, Ashlesha, when it is in our chart, and it coil itself, our destiny coil itself around us, It's like totally engulf us, and make us do what we are supposed to do. That's why it's a very strong nakshatra. But it is a sattvic nakshatra. It's a very highly spiritual nakshatra. But its method is sharp and hard. So and also because snake it has a very flexible body, it has no bone in the body, so it can coil and it can do a lot of things. So lot of people who have like very good dancing ability, like Michael Jackson had Ashlesha Nakshatra, Hrithik Roshan have Ashlesha Nakshatra, so and even some gymnasts, they have Ashlesha Nakshatra, so their bodies are very flexible. And even in meditation, all these people, like no, not meditation, of course meditation also, but like in yoga, you know, they can really do the asanas with which any other person may not be able to do. They may be doing most difficult asanas, you know, these Ashlesha people, because their body is really like very flexible. So basically this the name Ashlesha is combination of two things, you know. One is Sheshanaga, you know, the symbol Sheshanaga, it represents Sheshnag, you see. So the Ashlesha is taken from there, and it's a Vishleshna Shakti. So Vishleshna Shakti is the power to inflict poison. So combining these two things, it has become Ashlesha. So if it is afflicted, it can make a person go towards drug addiction or medical drug dependence, you know, or a person can become, you know, a drug peddler, or, you know, this kind of things, like which are not considered good in our society, you know. So the destructive activities, you know. But if it is on of higher level, if it is an evolved person, you know, Ashlesha give the chance of transformation, like a snake shed its skin. Same way these people get repeatedly this opportunity in life that they can transform themselves at any point in time, you know, like dacoits have become sages and seers, you know. So the same way it gives them the chance to correct and rectify and purify themselves, you know. So this Ashlesha Nakshatra is basically a very strong nakshatra for our betterment. It comes in our life. We all have to go through this. If it is in this lifetime, it is not there in our chart, that doesn't mean that it is never going to be in our chart. It may be in another lifetime, or we may have already crossed that nakshatra in our previous life journey. And what is very interesting is that if we see the DNA, the building block of our genetic code, the design of it has helical or we can say spiral snake design, you know. So it indicates that Ashlesha has a lot to do with our genetic heritage, and also the karmas we bring forward in our present lifetime from previous lifetime. And this is why it gives us there is lot of scope for rectification and purification in this nakshatra. Another thing is that this nakshatra is related to Sage Vashisht. Sage Vashisht is one of the 7 seers, one of the Saptarishis who are responsible for monitoring the affairs of this universe as well as the galaxies beyond this universe. And the meaning of Sage, the Vashisht, name Vashisht means the one who is prosperous. So this nakshatra is related to prosperity, and we have heard and we have read that the snake they guard the treasure, the Nagas guard the treasures of this universe. So that's why these people, if they want, they can become very rich. I mean, if it is their aim to become rich, they can be very rich, you know. But if they are lower level Ashlesha, means who are not evolved, they can become hoarders, and they can earn money through wrong means, you know, like I said, by being a pimp or getting into prostitution ring, or, you know, is peddling drugs, you know, a drug dealer, a smuggler, you know, this kind of things. Even, you know, they can be into bomb blast, you know. I mean, they can make nuclear bombs and all that for the destruction of society, you know, of the world. But if they are evolved, they are detached. They are not bothered about their wealth. They give it away. Like Lord Buddha was, I have read somewhere that he has Ashlesha Nakshatra. He has 2 planets. He had 2 planets in Ashlesha, Moon and Jupiter. So either one of them was in, either Moon was in Ashlesha or Jupiter was in Ashlesha, or both the planets were in Ashlesha. But he renounced the world. He became a sage, and for him money didn't matter. He was into service, you know, and into dhyan. That's how the evolved Ashlesha people are. They become seers, and even when they are living in day-to-day world, and they are living like normal human beings, but they are very detached. They give away their wealth. They serve people, serve society. They are humanitarians. They could be healers, occultists who are healers. But if they are on the wrong side, destructive side, they could be into tantras. They could be black magicians. So this is the quality of Ashlesha, that, you know, like we get exam paper and we have options, and we are given the choice that whichever answer we think is correct, we tick, you know. It's that option is ours, that choice is ours. So this here the destiny is giving us this choice. that you can make whatever choice you want. You will be judged by the end of the day on the basis of the choices you will make, so you will ascend or descend, depends on your choices, and you will get by the end of the day what you will deserve. So this is what this nakshatra does. So we cannot say that, okay, because that person is Ashlesha, so he has to be conniving, he has to be deceptive, he has to be a liar, or he has to be a cheat, or someone who is doing wrong activities. No, it is not like that. Because that person, maybe he's born into Ashlesha, he could be a evolved being, he could be into meditation, tapas, sadhana, he could be a yogi, he could be into humanitarian work, his life may his life may be about helping people, serving society. So it's not always true that Ashlesha people can be deceptive and liars. Yes, they can be seductive, they can be sexual, they can be liars, they can be conniving, they can be deceptive, but on lower level, on the level where they are not evolved, they haven't shed their skin, they are not transformed, but a time comes in their life when they can transform. If they want to, they can choose the right path. They will be given the opportunity. They will be somehow informed or showed this as a vision, or somebody may come in their life to guide them that if they follow this path of destruction, what can happen. And they normally change themselves, as they become more evolved, as they age slowly. So it's not like that Ashlesha person have to be bad. No, it's not like that. I know many Ashlesha people who are very good human beings, who are humanitarians. In fact, I know all the Ashlesha people who are very good. So the thing is, it's not like that at all, So don't make it your focus point of judging a person. We should never judge a person because we do not know the truth. But even if suppose we are trying to find out about a person, we should never judge it on this basis that, oh, this nakshatra person have to be like this. It's not like that at all. So basically this is it. And then it has lot of occult and esoteric meaning. Sheshnag is the cosmic float or even throne of Lord Vishnu, and whenever Lord Vishnu is incarnated, Sheshnag is also incarnated always with him to protect Lord Vishnu. When Lord Rama was when Lord Rama was born, Lakshman was born. Lakshman was Sheshnag, and he was incarnated as Lakshman, and to protect Lord Rama. And it has been said that Lakshman never used to sleep when Ram went through Vanvas with Lakshman, because Lakshman used to watch over Lord Rama and his wife. And Lord Buddha also, we have seen many statues and in temples and his images where we have seen him being watched by a Sheshnag. He's sitting in meditation and a Sheshnag is watching over him. So that is also like, it is showing that Lord Buddha is incarnation of Lord Vishnu as well. So, the Sheshnag is watching over him, And we see the images of Lord Shiva, that the snake is like a garland coil around his neck. What it represents basically, that this is the yogi who has his kundalini awakened already, and his third eye is open, and the snake is the symbol of that kundalini around his neck. So this is one thing. And also if we remember, Lord Krishna fought with Kalia, the Sheshnag, and he killed Lord Krishna killed this Sheshnag, Kalia. So this shows that basically we have to destroy our what is bad in us by making what is good in us strong. So this is what this nakshatra is about, that we have to make our inner conscious so good and so strong that the forces, the external forces which are not good, or even what is not good in us, we can recognize that and we can destroy that thing. So when we do that, even the most negative forces of this energy are going to protect us, support us, and guard us, and guide us. So this is it, So this nakshatra does that. And there is another story, myth regarding Ashlesha nakshatra, that is about Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean. When the ocean was churned, Lord Vishnu took the shape of the tortoise. And it represents the tortoise have the hard external body but very soft internal body. So God is like that. It has very hard exterior, but inside he's very soft, you know. So on top of that, mountain Mandhar was used as a churning stick, and Sheshnag Vasuki was used as the rope for churning, you know, which was being twisted from both sides, one side by devas and one side by demons, you know. And the Samudra Manthan basically took place to take out the things from the precious items from the ocean, you know. So lot of things came out, but what most importantly came out was Amrit. Amrit, or we call it ambrosia or holy nectar, life-giving, it gives immortality, you know, and poison. So Lord Vishnu distributed it among all the devas, because he found them deserving for the nectar, and the demons were left out. Demons were not given, except for Swambhu, who pretended to be a deva, and he took it. When Lord Vishnu realized that he is a demon, he cut his neck. So but Swambhu already became immortal, so he got divided in two parts and he started living, you know, as a legend, as Rahu and Ketu. So in our charts, the Rahu Ketu axis is basically Kundalini of our chart. So what is above, so is below, what is below, so is above. This is the principle of our universe. So everything has Kundalini also. We have Kundalini, our charts also have Kundalini, which is Rahu and Ketu, you know, axis, Rahu Ketu axis. Wherever it is, that is Kundalini of our chart. So we have to get it awakened, and we have to, you know, like evolve ourselves with the help of this Rahu Ketu axis, you know. And even this planet Earth have Kundalini. That I will explain some other time, you know. So I have found out that our planet Earth also have a Kundalini. So this is thing, you know. So when the Samudra Manthan was churned, basically it's symbolic of many things. We get what we deserve. If this universe, our revered planets, our gods think we deserve good, we will get good. If we deserve something which is not good, we will get that. We have to go through test. What is this mountain Mandhar? Mandhar means the flow of conscious, means our soul, our inner conscious. It is being twisted by what? Our lust. The snake represents our lust and desires. So one side the good is being pulled, you know, what is good in us, and one side what is getting twisted, the bad in us. Our soul is pulled in two directions, you know, getting churned. We want good, we want bad. We want, ultimately, when the things will come out, both good and bad, you know, our lust and desires are getting churned, you know, then we will be judged what we deserve. Amrit, ambrosia, the holy nectar, or the poison, or nothing, you know what I mean to say. So this is our choices we make for our own good, you know. If we are good for our own self. If we are righteous and we are selfless, we are for our own self. So the poison which came out, Lord Shiva drank it. And he didn't even tell anyone, he didn't ask anyone, he just took it and he drank it. And Ma Parvati standing next to him, she held his throat, squeezed his throat, you know, so that the poison doesn't go down, you know, it stays there, you know. So his throat became blue. And most of the time this Ashlesha Nakshatra people have big apple Adam, you know, very obvious apple Adam. So it represents that, you know, because the poison got collected there, you know. So this apple Adams people are born who have Ashlesha in their chart, they are born with big apple Adams. Even women can, you know, you can see with apple Adam, you know, who have Ashlesha sometime, not all the time, sometime. So this shows that this is symbolic of one being righteous and selfless. We cannot always think of I, me, mine. Our karmas should be about others. What we have to do, we have to do, even if it costs us our life or happiness of our people. That doesn't mean, you know, that we won't do our karmas if we think that, oh, it may harm my family, or my family success may be blocked if I will help another person. That person will prosper more. No, we have to do what is right. If we see something is not right in somebody's chart, we have to tell. this is our karma. That's why that person has come to us. A healer's karma is to heal. He won't say, oh, I'm interfering in somebody's karma, so the karma won't leave me. No, maybe it is the test of our soul whether you are going to do the right karma or not. Like, if we won't do it, that is also considered a karma. That's what Lord Krishna told Arjun, that not doing a karma is also a karma. You will be judged on that basis. So when our soul is tested, that what we will do, by the end of the day we will decide to do what is right, or we will decide to do what is good for us. So we should just do. Everything is destined. Someone who is supposed to be helped by us will be helped by us. Someone who is not destined to be helped by us, the destiny has to take over. No matter how much we guide that person still won't be helped, because this is the plan of destiny. We do not have that kind of power to interfere in the mechanics of this universe and the way the revert planets function. We cannot interfere. We cannot interfere with their decisions. We can only request them for help, so even when we are guiding someone or warning someone, we are doing our karmas, because we have noticed that in their chart and we have to let them know. So basically what I notice about this nakshatra some more, when it is afflicted, don't take outer planets lightly, because when outer planets are in Ashlesha and they are placed in a malefic houses, they are very intense, and they give very difficult results, So don't think that outer planets doesn't work. They work very strongly, and if they are retrograde, they are even more intense, So don't ignore that thing. Many Hindu Vedic astrologers do not want to give importance to Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, but I think they should, because it works. Why avoid something, By closing our eyes, we cannot, avoid the effect. It will still hit us. If it, just because our eyes are closed doesn't mean it is not going to hit us. So Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, Rahu, Ketu, and first house, 6th, 7th, 8th, 12th house. These houses. The results can be very destructive. Destructive in the sense means there could be drug addiction issues, there could be alcohol addiction, substance abuse, people can get into violent activities, and they can have a sudden death, mysterious death, because mystery is connected with this nakshatra. So mysterious death, sudden death, very painful death to the native and also to his or her spouse or lover. Sudden, untimely, that is one thing. And chronic diseases, where there is no treatment. So many times people die due to wrong medication when they have this nakshatra in their group of nakshatra. So and it is afflicted. So this kind of thing happens, and when it is not afflicted, when it is in positive houses, this still give relationship issues. Like people will have many relationships, serious relationships, either they are converted into marriage or just love relationship, but very deep emotional connections, and they break off and then they fall for another person. This kind of thing is there. Taboo breaking kind of situations or relationships, like the partners can be from totally different religious system which are anti to each other. The religious system, they will be, the partner could be from that kind of cultural background, and also a lot of age difference between partners. This is another situation. So I read the names of few people who have Ashlesha in their charts. First I will read 4-5 names which are about relationships, and then I will read the one who have gone through terrible circumstances in life because their Ashlesha nakshatra is afflicted. But we must always remember that the righteous, the selfless, the person who is serving others, whose intentions are good, he is always supported and guarded and guided by the most destructive energies of this world, of this universe. So once the motive of this nakshatra is this, to rectify us, to purify us. So we do not have to worry if we are right. If our soul says that, our inner voice tells us that you are right, you are doing the right thing, then we do not have to worry. If we can feel in us the pain of another person, and we do not inflict the pain on another person because we understand the meaning of pain, then we can never do anything wrong. and then we are always guarded and supported and guided. And even if something bad happens, we should accept it as wish of this universe, as wish of our revered planets, and we should tell them, your wish is my command. What goes around comes around. When you will tell them your wish is my command, I'm sure there is some good behind it, though it's a blessing in disguise. I normally do that. I tell them that when something very bad happens or something which really hurts me, I just tell them, your wish is my command. I'm sure there is something good behind it for me. I'm very thankful to you. So when you start doing that, they will also start telling you, no, your wish is our command. So don't have to be scared. This is our destiny. These are our lessons we have to learn. So now I read you the names of the people, and some people I will tell you the astrological configuration, because I can't tell the astrological configurations of all. First I tell you about the people who have this one in the relationship sector. So they are Hrithik Roshan, Saif Ali Khan, Princess Stephanie, Demi Moore, Elizabeth Taylor, Tom Cruise, Madonna. These are the people who have non-afflicted Ashlesha Nakshatra, and they have relationship related issues they have to face. Now I talk about people who have afflicted Ashlesha Nakshatra. So late Bhagat Singh Ji, the freedom fighter who died in his early 20s after much torture and physical abuse he went through, and he was hanged. He fought for India's freedom. He was totally selfless. He knew he will never see the day when India will be free, but he still fought for others, for his country. So he's the great freedom fighter. He had this. Then Marilyn Monroe, she died mysteriously. Nobody knows what happened to her at a very young age, I think mid-30s, drug influence. Steve Irwin, the crocodile Dundee of Australia. He was pierced, his heart was pierced by stingray, you know. We must understand that cancer is chest area, heart is upper, cancer also represents the upper area of the heart. So he was pierced in the heart, you know, and he was also, I think, in his 30s, mid-30s. Whitney Houston died suddenly. She had Sun and Venus in Ashlesha in 6th house. Michael Jackson, Uranus and Venus in 6th house. 6th house Uranus give untimely sudden death. So Michael Jackson also was wrongly administered with some painkiller by his doctor, and he died due to heart failure, sudden heart failure. Prince Charles, his wife we know, Diana Spencer, he has in ascendant Ashlesha Nakshatra, and Pluto is also in Ashlesha Nakshatra. Diana Spencer, she had Ashlesha Nakshatra in 7th house, Uranus in Ashlesha in 7th house. Christopher Reeve, who had a very bad fall from the horse, his ascendant Pluto Ketu in Nakshatra. Ketu and Pluto in ascendant in Ashlesha, and ascendant also in Ashlesha Nakshatra. Tupac, Ashlesha in 12th, Ketu in 12th in Ashlesha. Sanjay Dutt, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, Sanjay Gandhi have Pluto in Ashlesha in 7th house. Sonia Gandhi have Pluto and ascendant in Ashlesha. Robin Williams, who committed suicide, the great comedian, you know, and he was also a humanitarian, and he committed suicide because of his emotional traumas, you know. O.J. Simpson, whose wife died a mysterious death. Kathleen Kennedy was sister of John F. Kennedy, Mr. John F. Kennedy, the president, and she died at the age of, I think, 25 in plane crash. And few months before her death, her husband also died in the plane crash. Kishore Kumar, who has many wives, and his wife Madhubala was a Muslim, and she had a hole in the heart, and she died very young. Okay. Amy Winehouse. Amy Winehouse also had prominent Ashlesha, afflicted. I won't use the word prominent because wherever nakshatras are, they all are prominent, you know. Natalie Wood, she died at the age of 43. Her body was found in the boat, and she was under the drug influence. Nobody knows what actually really transpired, how she died. And then there is Paula Yates, Judy Garland, Michael Hutchins, Gia Karangi, and the relationship goes on. These all 4-5 also died of drug influence. So Ashlesha is a difficult nakshatra, but it depends how we treat it, how we deal with it when it is in our chart. If we do not know about it and we make mistakes, I think we are still forgiven because we do not understand. But we all can understand pain, whether we understand astrology, whether we understand nakshatras or not. We all understand pain. If from our pain we learn to grow and start helping others who are in pain, then I think we shouldn't be worried about the negative effects of these nakshatras. We know that we are supported, we are guarded, we are guided. Thank you. I hope you like this video of mine. If you do, please subscribe and support the good and give thumbs up. Thank you.